Hey, how's everybody doing there? This is Gary McCormick coming at you from AffordableCraftsman.net. And I'm just making some content here that will be educational and hopefully somewhat entertaining. Of course, you probably already know that we've been building new custom homes, i.e. for like an end user that wants to build a home on their land, let's say. And we've also built speculative homes, meaning, we buy the lot and build the home and then try and sell it as a finished product and make money, hence the speculative. So that would be more of a gamble. But we've done that since 2002, so that's 24 years. Prior to that, we had been flipping houses, renovating houses, and then in 2002, we developed our first 8 1-acre lots. It was really actually 2 sets of 4 1-acre lots over in Woodstock near the Roswell East Cobb Woodstock border, off of Wiley Bridge Road near Old Mountain Park Road, which is not far from Highway 92 in Sandy Plains, that area. And those homes all would have sold between maybe $700,000 and $1.5 million. My first home was actually for my investor and partner, Dave. From that first development. It was a 7,000 square foot house with the finished basement, and it cost about $700,000 to build it. So he was my first new home build, and then built some other homes for folks from our church that lived in the area that wanted to build in that development. It was a good location for them. We all went to Fellowship Bible Church at the time on Highway 92 in Roswell, very close to where that location was. So it was a great location. And I guess in 2007, in the fall, the last house we built in there was for Renee and I. It was on a 1-acre lot, $100,000 lot. Our cost of construction with the lot was $750,000, so maybe $650,000 for the house, $100,000 for the lot. And it appraised for $1.25 million right before the meltdown in October of 2007. Anyways, that was our first development. So we've been doing new construction since 2002. We did another development in 2005, 6, and 7 that was up off of Cox Road near Cox and Lumcrow. It's on the Roswell Woodstock border, probably about a mile or two from the first one. That was 8 1-acre lots as well, 2 sets of 4. 4 were on Cox Road, 4 were on Lumcrow, so they were 4. The magic to that was if you were 4 lots, it was a minor subdivision, so you didn't have to have fire hydrants and all that. Made it affordable to develop. And so we've been doing new construction since then. I cannot think of a time in the last 24 years that I wasn't the lowest bid, licensed and insured, for building a new custom home for a client. Usually we're $10 or $15 a square foot less than everybody else. And we build cost plus, so it's transparent. Everything is exposed. There's no fixed price that we can use lower quality material or hide money. Or everything is based on actual receipts and costs. So if you decide to do something nicer, spend more money, then you see the receipt for that. If you decide to eliminate something or go simpler, you see the receipt for that. It's all transparent. We call that cost plus, which the vast majority of builders don't want to build that way. They want to build with a fixed price, and then they can hide some money, if you will. You don't really ever know exactly what they're making. You just know the price. But ours is exposed, and if you want to make changes, you can make them, and everything is transparent. There's no arguing. But at the end of the day, bottom line, I'm still more affordable by $10 or $15 a square foot usually. So we'd love to give you a bid if you want something built in Cobb, Cherokee, North Fulton, in that area, North Atlanta. However, what I wanted to talk about today, based on that experience, though, is the way the numbers break down. So pretty historically, the simplest construction of a new home numbers that we would use, like, hypothetical numbers, let's say, right, would be 1/5 of the finished price goes to the lot. 3/5 goes to the hard costs of construction, what it actually costs to build the home. And then 1/5 is my fee and the real estate agent's fee. So, if you're buying a house that's 500 grand, hypothetically 100 grand is the lot, 300 grand is the hard cost to build, and 100 grand is my fee and the agent's fee. This is a very rudimentary, oversimplified, but this is the mathematical type of number that's been thrown around and taught and used between fathers and sons and grandfathers for 100, 200 years. Now, if you have a lot, let's say, in Cobb County, it's a 2-acre lot, and it's, in a great school district, and that lot is 400 grand, then you're probably going to have $1.2 million build, and you're going to end up with a finished product that's $2 million. And for you to make money as a investor, you have to figure out how to get that number, that lot cheaper. So maybe the lot's not 100 grand, maybe it's 80. And at me as a cost plus builder, maybe I save you $15 a square foot. So that means that if you sell that house for 500 grand, you'll actually be able to make a profit, right? If you want to make a profit on building a house and selling it, you have to get the cost of the land down. You have to get the cost of building the house down. You have to get your fee to the builder and the agent down to leave enough room to make some money. We're currently building a house that is $360 on a $100,000 lot. That's $460. But there were costs of permitting and plans and drawings, so maybe it'll be $470, $480, let's call it. And my guess is that investor will sell that house around $600. Of course, they'll pay commissions on that, so they'll really end up with maybe $540. So they'll make 60 grand. So that's 10%. That's probably the minimum that, sometimes you make more and sometimes you make less, but at some point, if you want to make more, what you do is you just build more, right? In other words, if you can make 60 grand on a $600,000 house, then you just do 5. If you need to make 300 grand, right? You just use a multiple to get to that. At some point, things can go wrong and you can make 30 grand instead of 60. Or things can go really great and you can make 90 grand instead of 60. But nobody is making 300 grand on a $600,000 house, right? Because again, 1/5 goes to the lot, 3/5 goes to the cost of build, and 1/5 pays the builder and the agent. And in that model, all of the money is gone and the investor makes nothing. Unless the investor is the real estate agent, then the investor makes the real estate commission, right? But in most cases, the investor is trying to squeeze those numbers down. And so again, they're trying to get a deal. So maybe they bought a bunch of lots at a discount. Or maybe they bought the lots 10 years ago and they didn't build on them right away. And when they bought those lots were 50 grand. And now 10 years later, they're worth 100 grand. Well, then they're going to make that money because the value's gone up, right? So, these are all just different components of making money, of investing. But Renee and I, my wife Renee is a realtor, and I call her the super agent. She's great with builders and with helping people find land and lots to build on. Of course, she works with me all the time. She's helped me in my company for 30 years. But she also works with other builders. She knows the numbers, and part of that is she knows me, and I've developed and built, and if there's something she doesn't know, she comes to me, and I know. So, that's how it works. It's good. And vice versa. She knows things I don't know. All that to say, this would be a helpful video for you if you're a new agent or if you have an interest in building a home or you're an investor. I just felt like it would be worth maybe 10 minutes to explain the 1/5, 3/5, 1/5, and just give you some kind of just horseshoes and hand grenades basic understanding of the costs of building a house. Again, each unique, I'd have to look at the land with you. Renee would look at the land with you. then we would figure out what house, it might be that you could support a bigger house than normal. It should be a smaller house than normal. So there are a lot of factors. It's never exactly 1/5, 3/5, and 1/5. But it's gets you in the right area, and it's a good conceptual thing to make sure that you're on the same page as Renee and I if we're having a discussion. And so I thought it would be some good training, some good basic training on what does it cost to build a home, how much goes to the land, how much goes to the hard costs of building the house, how much goes to the builder, the agent, the investor, what's the profit, how much would you save if you built your own home? If you built your own home, you would save that 20%. Yippee. And it happens that I do coach people to build and renovate and flip their own homes. So if you'd like to build your own home and save 10 or 20%, we can do that. I'm glad to build it for you turnkey. If I build it for you turnkey, you'll probably save about 10% anyways. But if you build it and you use my subs and I coach you, you'll probably save more like 20 or 25%. So if you have an interest in building your own home and acting as the GC and pulling the permit and using my subs and using my suppliers and having coaching so that it can go nice and smooth and easy, then that would be a good lead for me. And if you're looking to buy some land and build custom, we'd love to bid on that. And if for some reason you want to do that in an area that I don't service, my wife Renee is more than capable of finding you another builder that we know and getting prices from them and helping you navigate building your home. So whether you work with us or not, and either way you're going to need somebody to represent you. And Renee would do that wonderfully. So whatever we can do to help you if you want to build a custom home on your own land, this is just some basic training. I hope it was of help to you. Of course, there'll be a placard at the end of the video with our phone number, our email, all that. I'm sure that if this is on YouTube, you can go in the description underneath the video and there's links and different websites for us. If it's on a website, then there's probably a button somewhere around here to get a quote or to contact us. We're very easy to reach. We're not interested in putting you into a marketing funnel and barraging you with some kind of automated crap. We just want to have a conversation. We're regular people. So you can email, you can call, you can text, you can come by the office, whatever floats your boat. We're easy to find. Gary McCormick, Affordable Craftsmen, plural, affordablecraftsmen.net. And love to help you in any way. Help you find a lot, help you build a home, help you invest in houses to flip, whatever you want to do. Talk to you soon. Thanks.